Sup everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I've sat here with chat pretty much for an hour and a half going back and forth talking about all sorts of different things. Oh, got the wrong character on screen. It's an Ayaka video, and also we're going to be talking about Shenhe. But when we evaluate Ayaka, as I've come to realize, it's not as simple as just looking at Ayaka. Now, yes, I did say we're talking about Shenhe, but it runs deeper than that. Ayaka as a character since her release has been very well respected. A lot of people play her to this day. People swear by her potential. She has one of the highest scaling bursts in the game. She can one cycle all bosses if built correctly. Now, of course, minus the ones with multi-phases, because that's kind of like cheating in a sense. Damage wise, she is pretty loaded. So when we say Ayaka and Shenhe, their synergies potential, what do we really mean, right? We have to evaluate these two characters twice, essentially. Once at C0 and once at C6. Now, I know most people of you guys watching, even people in chat included, are free-to-play players. People who won't even think about C6, let alone C6 Shenhe. Like, if you guys want C6, get a C6 Ganyu, right? Get a C6 Zhao, go get a C6 Ito, go get a C6 Yelan. Ayaka, Shenhe usually aren't atop of people's lists, even if they daydream about getting a C6, right? Like in chat, I don't know how many people daydream about getting a C6 Shenhe. Yet, surprisingly, C6 Shenhe and C6 Ayaka are one of HoYoverse's more successful kind of pairing campaigns, if that makes sense. Basically, C6 Shenhe was designed as a whale bait for C6 Ayaka players. And that's surprising, right? Why would HoYoverse throw a bone towards the Giga Whales? Now, we've looked at some statistics when evaluating these characters. You guys wouldn't believe how high up Shenhe is when it comes to percentage usage. Now, it's important that we mention percentage usage because we have to first evaluate how many people actually own Shenhe versus how many people who plays her. So statistically, out of 120,000 data points collected by CN players, Shenhe has an 18% usage rate. So meaning out of the people who own her, 18% of them are using her. Now you guys might think, oh, that's terrifyingly low, but not really. She ranks above characters such as Sino. She ranks above characters such as Ganyu, Zhao. All characters you guys would really not think ranks below Shenhe. What? Zhao below Shenhe? Really, Walrus? Are you sure you're not like tripping or something? But I assure you, statistically, it just proves that Shenhe has actually somehow withstood the test of time, even though Cryo nowadays has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the general meta. Like, I mean, there's still good options, don't get me wrong, but there has not been any incentives to run them. So let's reevaluate, right? Then why the hell is Shenhe still holding on so strong? And do you, as a free-to-play player, should you invest into a Shenhe? Now, if you just look at the statistics and move on from here, you would quickly think, oh, you know, I mean, sounds like I should get one, right? But stop right there. I'm going to stop you right there because we have to evaluate Shenhe's presence and addition and bonuses to, let's say, a Cryo team at C0. C0, Shenhe, in my opinion, a noticeable buff, but not enough to justify her premium cost. Meaning that when you say you pull a new 5-star character, right? Let's just use the more recent Alhaitham. I know there's a even more recent 5-star, but we're not going to talk about that because talking about that new 5-star is kind of taboo right now. So we're going to use Alhaitham as an example. When you pull an Alhaitham into your account, the amount of power spike and gains that this character is able to present your account should be substantial, very noticeable. In fact, Alhaitham, when it comes to value in primos, is a highly valued character, very high yield. Like, think of buying a stock and you're getting like gains from a stock. When it comes to Shenhe, the gains are more like buying a government bond. I don't know why I'm using stocks to talk to like video game players. Like, it's low. It's relatively low. Alhaitham is like if you bought Tesla stocks or you bought Bitcoin back in like 2017. Thing just kind of took off. You went to the moon. But Shenhe feels much more mild. Yes, there is a gain. It's like you gained 5-10%. Right, and you can be happy you didn't lose, unlike the the people who bought Eula stocks, Venti stocks, Shenhe stocks by all accounts, have held very steadily. Very consistent, but at the same time, when you can essentially predict almost what are those to the moon stocks, such as Alhaitham, such as the Hydro Archon, for example, and potentially Baiju is looking to be a great investment for you as well. Why should you even give Shenhe a second thought? Now, as somebody who has pulled a C0 Ayaka, if you guys can see on screen here, I have a C0 Ayaka of a C0 Shenhe, C0, C0. All 4 of these characters are C0. Now, they make a great team together. Most people will even drop Ganyu here in pursuit of someone like Kazuha, like Venti, like Sucrose to buff out Ayaka's damage even more, and all the more reason to evaluate Ayaka as the prime carry of this team. Piling more damage onto Ayaka, by the definition of what we're doing here, Ayaka is an hyper carry in this team, because the definition of a hyper carry is pulling resources from the rest of your team in order to solo carry the entire 4-man team. All the damage, at least 80 to 90% of damage, comes from one character on the team. And by that definition, that should be a hyper carry team. So by accounts, Ayaka, if you were to drop Ganyu in this team and put Kazuha, Ayaka would then essentially turn out to be a hyper carry, and she actually can fill that role. Don't get me wrong, she can be an on-hit, she can be a hyper carry, she can be a shared DPS carry. My point is, Ayaka herself provides more than enough damage, more than you could ever possibly need in Genshin Impact to carry a team comp. You can switch out Ganyu for Rosaria, you can switch out Kokomi for Mona, you can switch out Shenhe for Diona, you can switch out Mona for Xingqiu, you can switch out Xingqiu for Yelan, you can switch out Diona for Layla. The options there are pretty much endless, because the core concept of an Ayaka team is Ayaka dishes out the damage, but you set up the environment for her to deal that damage. Freeze has no inherent like additional scaling from the character. It's not like, oh, if you have more attack, HP, or EM, the freeze lasts longer or does damage. No, freeze exists solely to keep enemies in place so that your carries can just whack on them and dish damage. Think of it as petrolized, like it's pretty much what Zhongli does, but with extra steps. Now, this might sound like I'm stroking Zhongli's ego a little bit here, which I am, right? Having a meteor that comes out and dishes insane damage while also essentially freezing the enemies in place all in one ability is incredible. And that's essentially what Freeze does. And to be honest with you guys, Freeze has a longer duration because of the characters that you can surround your rosters with. Kokomi, Mona, Xingqiu, Ganyu, Rosaria, these are all great characters to sustain a longer freeze duration, all in the hopes that your Ayaka can come in and slap some cheeks. Now, Shenhe definitely softens up those cheeks a little bit, you know, but by no means do you need that softening. You can go in rock solid with Ayaka and completely demolish all your enemies. So again, free-to-play players, if you're watching this video, understand that Ayaka is more than enough. Even in a free-to-play team, Ayaka is kind of like the centerpiece of all of this stuff, okay? Without Ayaka, Shenhe essentially becomes unnecessary. Ayaka should always come first. She is the queen that you should be looking towards. Shenhe is a support. Now, Shenhe and Ayaka C12 is a whole different story. If you're somebody watching this and you have an Ayaka C6, I mean, I shouldn't be the one to have to tell you this, but investing into a Shenhe C6 will essentially unlock one of, in my opinion, the most satisfying way to play the game. Press a couple of buttons, watch enemies just completely eviscerate, being atomized by Ayaka's burst skill. I mean, Shenhe's elemental skill, once you get to see her quails, essentially, her quails pretty much make all cryo units god. Now, I'm saying Ayaka right now because Ayaka is the prime example. Ganyu can also benefit from this as well. Once you highly invest into Shenhe, you essentially become a cryo maniac. You should never let a single cryo unit escape your grasp. Now, playing Chongyun with Eula with Shenhe C6, that becomes an option. Playing Cryo Zhongli, Qiqi on-field DPS. Any sort of cryo existence, you can turn anyone into a cryo hyper carry through Chongyun. It's a bit roundabout of a way, but C6 Shenhe makes that viable. In many ways, you can even say it makes it like what, meta? No. But when it comes to damage, they output an insane amount of damage. And that's what Shenhe brings you. That's why I say, investing into a C6 Shenhe turns you into a Cryomania. But C6 Ayaka, C6 Shenhe has been one of the more successful things that HoYoverse has concocted in terms of whale bait. It has withstood the test of time, incredibly satisfying. The speedrun community still can utilize this along with other options, but when it comes to C6 synergies, they essentially kind of take the cake by CN standards. Now, I'm not telling you guys you should drop over $1,000, maybe up to $2,000, getting C6R5 Shenhe to pair with your C6R5 Ayaka, but if you've already gone so far, I assure you Shenhe is going to be that next step that you can take to elevate your Ayaka. And it essentially is the only step you can take that gives you meaningful elevation to Ayaka's gameplay beyond your own C6R5. But all in all, to conclude, if you're free to play, just pull Ayaka, or if you already have Ayaka, just skip Shenhe. She's not worth it. Don't let boredom dictate what you play and pull. I think there's inherently more value when it comes to Baizhu coming up next. And if not, keep waiting, because every time, HoYoverse has done this twice, which is by no means setting a pattern, but every time before a new region gets released, they release a character in the patch before, which turns out to be insanely valuable. Now, are they going to do it again by, I don't know, like 2.8, 2.9, whatever the hell they have planned this time? I don't know, but it's safe to hold on to your Primo Gems. This is a period of saving. Shenhe is a premium luxury, the most luxury of the luxury in terms of unit value. And I urge you all to exercise caution when we move into the second half of this patch, because there's going to be a lot of videos, a lot of content of people praising these synergies, maybe even showcasing again C6 Ayaka, C6 Shenhe, essentially the C12 combo of these characters, which could get you easily baited into like, okay, maybe I can't achieve C12, but I can get C0 for both. Not the same. Not even close. Okay? So with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Go out there, have some fun. Try out different comps, try out different synergies, and maybe, just maybe, get lucky every now and then so you can pull characters that you didn't plan for. Sorry for Dia. I mean, we all really wish she was going to be good, but it's time to move forward, right? It's time to stop beating the dead horse. Even for me, right? Milking content out here. Time to stop. We need to look forward. I actually haven't farmed Ayaka artifacts in a long time. She's been surviving off this for a very long time, and maybe it's time for me to reevaluate her artifacts. So let's work together for that. Till next time, Rujo, to stay safe. Peace. Thank you for chat, and bye.